Hi everyone, today I'll show you how to quickly and easily knit this beautiful bobble pattern in rows. What you need for that, if you want to knit in two colors like I do, is two different yarns, as you can maybe see. I've got a beautiful color gradient. It's really easy. I just keep knitting in the leftovers of my sock yarns here. This is kind of a slightly longer project, since I'm making good use of the leftover sock yarn here. How does the pattern work? As I said, you need yarn that roughly matches. My yarn is sock yarn, so about a thickness of 2.5 to 3.5. I'm knitting with a needle size of 2.75, and you always need for the pattern. It goes each time over 2 times 6 rows. I'll show you how to do it now. You start with a purl row, which means you simply knit with your second color. This is the color here that's used for this pattern, a whole row of purl stitches. How many stitches do you need? Depending on how wide your scarf or your work should be, you always need a stitch count that's divisible by 4, plus 3 stitches, plus 2 edge stitches. That means a stitch count divisible by 4, plus an extra 5 stitches in total. I'm knitting my scarf with 65 stitches. You start the first round by knitting the edge stitch, even if it were a purl round. That means the edge stitch is always knit. The first and the last stitch are always knit. After that, very simply, you purl the whole row. That means bring the yarn to the front, insert into the stitch together, pull the yarn through, 1 purl stitch knitted. Now do that across the whole row until you finish your work, that is your first row, with a knit stitch. Then we'll see each other again. So, you've finished your first round with a knit stitch. Here you can also see the pattern from the other side. I find it very nice too. Now we're changing the color. That means we're turning our work around. I always do it like that. The color, the yarn I'm knitting, I put to my left. The other, it rests to my right. That means we're now starting with our second yarn, works. Really simple. Now you just knit 4 rows in stockinette stitch. How does it work? You always knit the stitches as they appear. I've just knitted a purl row. That means now here the elongated stitches, we simply knit 1 row. Finish the work again. With a knit edge stitch and then purl the next row. Means 4 rows stockinette. Knit, 1 row knit, 1 row purl. After that the yarn is changed again. Until then I wish. Have fun knitting. After you've knitted your 4 rows in stockinette, you should Your work should look something like this. Just knit rows. Now we knit our 6th row. This is the only slightly tricky one. Tricky in quotes is just a slightly odd feeling because we have to drop stitches. We begin, as always, with our right edge stitch and now knit 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The special thing now is here in our first round at the 6th stitch. We'll just let them go now. I know it feels a bit strange, and let the 4 rows we previously knitted in stockinette run on. That means there should now be 4 rows lying loose here. Tip from me, take with your fingernail, with the right one, hold your stitch firmly, the one you're now inserting into from the front passes to the back and just knits a knit stitch as normal. That means you insert, have your 4 ribbed rows over the needle, and then knit the stitch like a knit stitch. Now you've kind of pulled the lower color of your second yarn, which you're knitting with again now, up to the top, and that way you always have this bobble pattern. Now knit 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. From now on, always drop the 4th stitch across the whole row. I'll show you again. Drop a stitch, unravel 4 rows. Those are the 4 rows you knitted earlier with your main yarn. Now insert into the stitch and knit the stitch as a knit stitch. Pull it out. Now you've basically picked up the stitch here. You've got your 4 frogged rows and you've already knitted your second yarn cake. Then 3 stitches again and drop the 4th stitch for the whole round. Rip back so you have your 4 yarn ends here. Stick into your first yarn that you knitted. Knit the knit stitch and so on. That finishes the whole row now. 3 stitches and drop the 4th. After that, it's really easy to continue because now our second round begins. I'll show you how this goes then. So, when you've finished knitting the row, that is, always 3 knit stitches, leave 1 full stitch, 3 knit stitches, your work should look something like this. The second block works in rounds or rows 1 to 5, exactly the same way you just knitted. That means your first color, this one here, now knits 1 row in reverse stockinette. Then switch your yarn and knit 4 rows in stockinette stitch. That means always the stitches as they appear. So here we again have stockinette stitches for our yarn cake. When you're ready, I'll show you how that little difference works in the 6th row. After that, you're basically done with the pattern and you can just repeat it. Until then, I wish you lots of fun knitting. You've now knitted your 5 rows of the second block. Your work should now look like this. This is our yarn cake from the first block. The second block goes almost exactly like the first. Round 6 means we're switching our yarn again. And now the only difference. We knit as before 1 edge stitch, then knit only 3 stitches before we drop the first stitch. Before that we knit 5 stitches. Now we knit 3 stitches before we drop the first stitch. Drop our 4 rows again, insert below, knit like a knit stitch. After that, it's exactly the same. So always knit 3 stitches, drop the 4th stitch. Pick up at the bottom after our 4 rows and knit as a knit stitch. Why are we doing it this way? Why do we knit an edge stitch and 5 stitches in the first block and an edge stitch and 3 stitches in the second block? I'll show you this. That's because we always want to stagger the yarn cakes. Otherwise, the yarn cakes always end up in a row, so you've got them nicely staggered, which means for you, in the first block, row number 6, you knit 1 stitch, 5 stitches, drop 1, then always drop 3 knit stitches, 3 knit stitches. In the second block, your 12th row is called an edge stitch. Drop 3 knit stitches instead of 5, and then, as always, drop 3 knit stitches, 3 nibbles knit, drop the 4th. And so you can, from your leftover yarn rolls, still really make a wonderful individual object, and really a one-of-a-kind piece. If you liked my video, I'd be really happy with a free subscription, then you won't miss any of my new videos. Until then, enjoy knitting.